And I'll tell you what, when it comes to what gear a person should have, like I said, a beginner needs more gear, intermediate needs less, and advanced needs the least amount of gear. Okay? But for instance, what gear does a beginner need? Well, I would recommend myself. I'd recommend a multi-tool, a knife of some kind, rope, cordage, for instance, like it could be waxed back line, it could be paracord, 550 paracord would be fine. 20-30 feet of paracord or a small roll of the waxed bank line. Pot, saw, tarp, pack, fishing gear, snare wire, hunting gear, fire making tools like ferro rod or Bic lighter, and I'd take both if it were me and I were a beginner, because of the fact that you're going to be actually camping primitive style. You're not going to be actually practicing surviving as a beginner. You've got to learn the skills. You got to learn the knowledge. And we all start out somewhere. But you don't want to be just camping. Okay? Glamping is not wilderness survival, even if you're doing a catch and cook. I love those type of videos just as much as anybody else, and I'll watch a few of them myself. Those catch and cook things. But I get a chuckle out of them, and I know that these people are actually trying to provide some entertainment and give some interesting ideas how to rough it. But when it comes to actual wilderness survival, you're not doing that in a boat. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing that in a truck or a car. You're in a situation to where your life depends upon it. That sucks, okay? Survival is not something that's a game. I mean, there is no such thing as a Temu survival challenge. I mean, even though someday I might do one. Survive with just some items off of Temu. All those type of deals, those are fun. And those are great ideas and ingenious, but they're entertainment value more than they are practical reality. When it comes to wilderness survival, that lists a few things, even though you're going to think of things, hey, this should be on there, that should be on there. No, you're trying to learn to do without a lot of the extra camping gear. The ultimate goal is to get to where you need nothing. At that point, have everything, need nothing, you're in good shape. You see what I'm saying? If you've got anything, whatever you've got just makes everything easier. Much easier. That's me. I love that. Okay, had to check batteries and everything. Now, gear for your intermediate people. Well, that's actually less. I'd suggest a multi-tool, cordage, pot, saw, ferro rod, or a flint and steel, a small pack, snare wire, fishing line, and hooks, and that's it. And as far as your knowledge, practice doing without what you have. Okay? Learn about gorge hooks, for instance. Practice making gorge hooks. But if you're on this little camping adventure that you've decided to go on to test your metal type thing, well, have the fishing line and hooks in case your gorge hooks aren't working. Because if you don't make them right, they aren't going to work. And even though they're really easy to make once you know what you're doing, and they work fairly decent. if they're made well and made out of the right materials. I mean, there's a lot of ifs, and you'll learn those things, but you'll get it. Practice making fire with fire by friction techniques or fire piston, or you know, even using your ferro rod for that matter. Refuse to use a bic is what I'm saying. Basically, learn to do it without the lighters. If it takes a Zippo or a bic, well, in that area, you may be still a beginner. You can be an intermediate in many, many areas and still a beginner in some areas. For instance, there's a lot of people that are advanced that still don't know how to flint knap. That's a serious handicap of knowledge. You see what I'm saying? But just like a beginner has to work into the hard stuff or into the harder stuff, as an intermediate, you're still working into the more advanced ideas. Start kicking around the notions of such things as flint knapping, bowyery, making arrows. Learn what woods like cedar that make good bows or good arrows. Learn different ways to do it. I mean, learn about stuff like atlatls. You know, go out and practice with slingshots. Have fun with it. I mean, it could be one of those deals to where you can set up targets and get pretty good. And there's a lot of paleo guys that even have competitions with atlatls. You know, it's actually a community out there that can be quite fun and quite rewarding for somebody if they're into that type of thing. Me, I've never been that great with an atlatl. I know how to build one. I know how to make one, but I'm still not that great with one. I could hit a bear at close range. There's some old boys out there that could tag a deer or a boar at a fair distance at hunting ranges with an atlatl, and I'm not joking. And those things will quite effectively take down a mammoth, let alone a bison or something smaller. So don't knock it just because it's primitive. Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I may even leave that in there for some silliness. You don't want to know how much of a goober I can be. I have a sense of humor. Okay, now I'm done scaring myself. Now, when it comes to an advanced person in wilderness survival, well, guess what? It takes a lot less stuff. But I would still advise a multi-tool, pot saw, ferro rod, and some hooks. Because I'll tell you what, and some cordage. Because that is the hardest stuff to make. Okay? Multi-tool has a knife in it, by the way. It also tends to have a saw, a pair of pliers, all of which are like the bomb diggity when you're out there in the middle of the woods and you're with no other tools. Just having that little teeny tiny saw is amazing. Because you can make a lot of trap triggers. You can make fire by friction sets really fast, really easy with a multi-tool, where it's not as fast or as easy with a bigger knife. The problem you get with just a multi-tool versus a knife, for instance, is that the blade on the multi-tool is fairly small. If you end up catching a big fish, for instance, cleaning it can be a pain in the butt. Scaling it, yeah, you can do that, but why? Especially if it's got big scales, I just cook it in fire. But when it comes to cleaning out something with small scales, where the scales aren't going to protect it from just cooking it in fire, then You could scale it, but you still got to get it and clean it. Filleting with a multi-tool is possible. I've done it. It's a pain. You can skin out a deer with a multi-tool. I've done it. It's a pain. Okay. I wish somebody would build one specifically for survival. If somebody manufactures multi-tools and you would like a list of survival specific things to make a specific survival specific multi-tool, then I'd be glad to help you with that, because the the whole wilderness survival and bushcrafting community could actually use one. A Swiss Army knife, if you will, of survival without the fluff and junk. Because you don't need screwdrivers in a survival tool. But now, concerning the knowledge for the advanced, by all means, fine tune your skills, fine tune your knowledge. 45 plus years later, and I still search YouTube for survival videos, etc. And somebody may look at me weird and say, "What?" Yeah. You'd be surprised how many little tips and tricks I've got from everything from some kid making a fire by friction video that doesn't know what you can't do and managed to do something that even the experts would say, "Oh, this is impossible." Or when you're watching some little documentary about this or that tribe in the Amazon, or over in Korea or some other place, or in Vietnam, or some jungle somewhere. It's amazing how many different ways there are to do something. It's like trap triggers. There's probably 30 or 40 of them I know. You only need to be proficient at like two or three. But the more you've got under your belt, the more varied the situations you can be in and still make an effective trap. Hey, the more knowledge you have, the more it increases your ability to survive. And that includes even at the advanced level. Keep learning. I mean, so you know how to make a fire pit. That's great. Well, you know how to make a fire or a firewall. That's great. You may know how to make an underground oven. That's great. Well, do you know how to make a Dakota fire pit? A lot of people would say yes. Well, that's great. Do you know when to use it? Why to use it? What do you use in a grassland where sparks and any wind at all can cause a raging wildfire? Okay. What's your knowledge concerning fire? Well, that's great. Do you know how to contain it? Do you know how to force it to your will? Do you know what to look for in the ground to keep from starting a fire, because you don't want to start tree roots of some species on fire accidentally? You can cause a forest fire that way. And that can be weeks after you leave. And you're still responsible. It is what it is. But fine tune your skills, gain in knowledge. Go deeper than you are right now. And believe me, there's always more you can know about any subject. I don't know of any subject that mankind knows everything about anything. And wilderness survival is no exception. No exception whatsoever. I've been learning this 45 years, and I always come across something new occasionally. It gets harder and harder and harder over time. But occasionally I do. And I look for those nuggets. I love them. I appreciate it when I come across them. I give kudos to some of those ingenious people out there. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. It's like one that that I did not know about was a form of friction fire. recently, I want to say within the last 10 years, came across it. And that was what's called the Rudiger roll. It's actually a little trick that came out of World War II, where they would get cigarettes and stuff that had no way of lighting them. So they came up with a way using friction. And it just shows the ingenuity of mankind. For every problem, there's 50,000 ways to attack that problem and overcome it. Well, awesome. Teach me all 50,000. I'm always open to learning something new. And I don't care where I learn it from. I mean, if I'm going and I'm watching some 10-year-old kid, I'm willing to learn from them if they got something to teach. The question is, if you think you know everything about the subject, no, you don't. I guarantee it. You may know a lot, but you don't know everything. For instance, you know how to make a clay pot. That's all fine and good. How many different ways of making clay pots do you know it? Where do you get your clay? Okay. Does it have to be from this or that source, or do you think it has to be of this or that type of clay, or what have you? Okay, because I'll tell you what, mankind has made pottery, made very functional, fine pottery out of some stuff that you'd call dirt. No joke. I want to thank everybody for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe so you don't miss out on what's coming next. I intend to do a whole bunch of videos. I've got all sorts of topics. I've even got some gear reviews lined up. Now be sure to check out my other vids for more wilderness info if you like this one. I thank you all. You have a good day.